We're going to jump into some simple interest today. Before we go through the formula and sort of talk about what it means, can anyone tell me in words, so without using the formula, can anyone tell me in words what simple interest is? I'm curious. You can either write it in the chat or you can pop your hand up and talk to us, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. But who can tell us what simple interest is? Okay, paying a deposit over time. Yeah. Hire purchase is simple interest. Absolutely. Yes. Hello. Yes, if you have to unmute yourself.
Oh, ma'am, can you hear me?
I can.
Ma'am, simple interest is interest that's charged over a short period of time. So like, how do I describe it? I cannot describe it without using the formula, actually. Never mind.
It's hard. When you take the formula out of maths, it's hard. Basically, in words, simple interest is if you have an amount of money, so this is my amount of money, I work out a percentage of that initial amount of money. So if my initial amount of money is 1,000 Rand and my interest is 10%, then my interest will be 100 Rand, okay? And every year, my interest will be 100 Rand. So if I had, I'm just gonna draw a little picture for you over here. Okay, little line, this will make sense just now. If I started with 1,000 Rand, so this is what I started with 1,000 Rand, and then every single year I'm going to increase by 100 Rand. So this would be 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. So as my time goes on, every year I will be increasing by the same amount. So I will have a linear line. It will go up in a linear way. Every year I'll be adding the same amount. When we're dealing with compound interest is interest on interest. So instead of having that one initial amount that gets added on every year, they will work out the interest each year based on what is inside that account. And so then you get a graph that looks more like this, because as you get more money, it goes up. Okay. All right. So let's have a look. This is kind of like talking through exactly what I've just said now. When we have simple interest, let's say you open a bank account, okay, and you deposit. So for those of you who are feeling uncertain with this word, deposit, you're just putting in, so you're putting money into your bank. You deposit 1,000 Rand, all right? The bank promises a 5% interest rate every year on a linear or straight line or simple interest basis. Okay, mostly they'll use the word simple interest basis. Calculate 5% of 1,000 Rand. So what is 5% of 1,000 Rand? Who can help me with that? What is 5% of 1,000? Don't overthink it, guys. Don't panic. Use your calculators if you need them. Yes, exactly 50 Rand. Okay, so we can just say 5% times 1,000, and that will give us our 50 Rand. Okay, if you are uncertain on how to get that percentage sign in your calculator, or you're not using a scientific calculator, you can use a decimal. So you can say 0.05 times 1,000. Or if you feel more comfortable with fractions, you could say 5/100 times 1,000. Hello, I'm well, thank you. Nice to see you guys again. I'm glad you're all still here. Okay, add that amount of money to your 1,000 Rand. So in year one, we had the 1,000 Rand, that was our deposit. That was what we started with, okay? And this over here, that's our interest. Okay, so we have our initial amounts of money plus our interest, and so at the end of year one we land up with 1,050 Rand. All right, the end of year two, it's the same situation. instead of adding 50 Rand, we're going to multiply that by 2 because there's now 2 times I'm adding 50 Rand. And so now at the end of year 2, I would have 1,100. If it was the end of year 3, I would say times 3. If it was the end of year 4, I would say times 4. So you're going to add that same amount of money on however many years you end up having. Okay. And so that leads us into this glorious little formula over here. Don't worry, I'll scroll up so you can take a screenshot just now, where we have A is equal to P, bracket, 1 plus I times N. All right. We're going to quickly talk about what each of those letters mean, and then we're going to do some examples, and we're going to jump into some juicy questions. It's going to be very exciting. Okay. So A is our accumulated amount or our end amount. So basically think of it as what you started with plus interest. Exactly, your final amount. Beautiful way to think about it. Okay. P is what we start with. So that is like our deposit or our loan or whatever we're starting with. It's the beginning. Okay. 1 is just the number 1. So there's nothing fancy about that. That is just 1. All right. I is your interest rate. Now be careful. Your I has to be a percentage or a decimal or a fraction. So just make a little note to yourself. It needs to be a percentage, a decimal, or a fraction. And what I mean by that is, for example, if we said 5% or 0.05 or 5/100. Okay. And then N, at the moment, we're going to think of it as number of years. When we get to grade 11, we're going to think of it as time frames. But for now, we're going to think of it as years. Nice. Okay. I'm going to just zoom out so you can take a screenshot of the whole thing of simple interest. Go. Now, is there anything about this formula or what I've spoken about so far that you feel confused by before we jump into some examples? Let me know. You can either put it in the chat or you can lift your hand up and just ask. No? Okay. Okay, cool. Let's do some examples then. Okay. When you start getting into financial maths in grade 11 and a matric, the questions get very long and they get quite complicated. And so what I always find is easiest is if we write a list of our important things on the left-hand side or anywhere on your piece of paper, so you know what's going on and you know what to do and you know exactly what information is being given to you. Okay, it really helps break up these big paragraphs when we get to 11 and 12 into smaller pieces of information. So let's kind of break this question up a little bit. Tassel loans 5,000 Rand from the bank. Okay, they offer her a 7% per annum simple interest rate. For those of you who have not seen this before, that PA stands for per annum, which means per year. Okay, so that's saying 7% per year. They've told us it's simple interest, which means we know we are going to use this formula here. Exactly, same formula. How much will Tato have to pay after 3 years? So let's kind of break this question down a little bit into the information we know. What is my N value? So how many years are we looking at in this question? Good, 3. Okay. What is my I value? just be careful. You can't just write 7. You need to write it as a percentage or as a decimal or as a fraction. Beautiful. Now we get to the complicated part. So Tato loans 5,000 Rand from the bank, and we want to know how much they'll have to pay back after 3 years. So is that 5,000 Rand going to be my P or is it going to be my A? So I'm gonna let some of these answers come in. Yeah, it's definitely, it's what I'm starting with, okay? Because we are wanting to know what they're gonna have to pay back after 3 years, which is going to be my loan plus interest. Okay, and so that's the thing we don't know. That's going to be my loan plus my interest. Okay, once we've done our little grocery list on the side, we can just pop it straight into our formula. So we can say A is equal to 5,000, 1 plus 7% times 3. And I want everyone, every single human being in this call to get their calculators, please, and to put this in their calculator, because I want to make sure you all know how to do this. If you get the wrong value, we need to know what you're doing wrong. So often what's happening is like people forget the percentage sign or they don't put their brackets in correctly. If you do not get the answer of 6,050 Rand, you need to let me or Nelly know so that we can help you. Something is going wrong with how you're putting it into your calculator if you're not getting that answer. Good. Don't forget, it's money. When it's money, we want to have our Rand symbol. So we want to say 6,050 Rand. Good. Beautiful. Okay. If you'd like to take a screenshot of this question, you may. And then we're going to do another example. And then I'm going to let you loose with a few questions to do. Okay, cool. All right, so question 2. We're going to do a very, very similar thing here. How much was invested in an account if after 15 years, okay, the final amount is 10,125 Rand? Simple interest rates of 4.5% per annum was offered. So now let's fill in our information of what we know so far. We know N is what? What is my N value? Good. Number of years? 15. Good. Okay, cool. What is my I value? So what is my interest rate in this question? Good. 4.5%. Don't forget that percent sign. Okay. And then, is this 10,125 Rand, is that our P value or is that our A value? If it's our final amount, good, it's our A value. We don't know our P value. Okay. Now you've got 2 different options here. You can either put that straight into this formula and then solve for the unknown, or you can start by rearranging your formula. So remember when you did subject of the formula, when you were working with equations and you had to make like X the subject and you had to move things around? We can do that before we do anything. So we're trying to find P. So we want to make P the subject of the formula. All that means we'd need to do is we could say A divided by 1 plus I times N, and that would be equal to P. Once we've done that, we can just pop in our information. that we've got on the left-hand side. So we don't have to worry about anything. We can say 10125 over 1 plus our I is 4.5%, our N is 15, and that's equal to P. And then you can chuck that straight into your calculator. So we're going to put our fraction key in there, 10125 over, open bracket, 1 plus 4.5% times 15, close that bracket. And let's see if everyone gets the same number as me. I like that, offensive. Be careful with your senses, guys. Nice. Remember, with money, we always want to have 2 decimal places when we have decimals. So we've got 776 on and on. That 6 means that 7 is going to become an 8. So our final answer is going to be 6044,78. And we always want 2 decimal places with money. Beautiful. Does anyone have any questions about this one so far? Please feel free to take a screenshot. We're actually going to deviate. I want you to do something else before we jump into this exercise. Okay, so we've made A the subject of the formula. We've made P the subject of the formula. Let's try and make I and N the subject of the formula. So we're not going to worry about numbers at the moment. We're just going to write the formula out. So we've got A. Oh, I want to use a different color. Yeah, you're doing super well, guys. A is equal to P, 1 plus I times N. Okay. Who thinks they can help talk us through making I the subject of the formula? And we're not worrying about numbers at the moment. We just want to make I the subject of the formula. Who thinks they can help with that? And if you don't feel confident to say the whole thing, that's also okay. You can say pieces of it. Hello. Fatu, hello. Hello. I can see you're unmuted, but I can't hear you.
Hello, ma'am.
Ah, I can hear you. Yes. Hi.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. So, ma'am, we're going to start off by dividing both sides with P.
Beautiful. I love it. Okay, so if we just divide that side by P and that side by P, so we're going to have A over P is equal to, I'm going to get rid of that bracket now because I don't need it. 1 plus I times N. Cool. Next step.
And then we're going to transpose our 1 to the left side. So it's going to be -1.
Beautiful.
And then we're going to divide both sides by N.
Yes, you little brain buff. Look at you. I'm so chuffed. Well done, man.
Thank you, ma'am.
We're going to have A over P -1 all over N. Nice job. Okay, so if we do it like this, you see, when we're just dealing with letters, it feels a lot less stressful than when we've got these big numbers involved as well. So if we can make I the subject of the formula by moving things around, then we can put our numbers in and it feels nice and calm. If you don't feel comfortable doing subject of the formula, that is okay. You can absolutely do it by putting in your numbers and moving things around. This just sometimes helps simplify it for some people. Okay. If we were looking for N, it's actually very, very similar to what we've just done. It's just going to be slightly different, but it's almost identical. So I'm going to write it right next to it like this. Okay. So first step, we would do the same thing. We would divide by P, okay? And we'd be left with 1 plus I times N. Next step, we'd do the same thing. We'd minus 1. So A over P minus 1 equals I times N. Now, I'm trying to get N to be alone. So now, instead of dividing by N, I'm just going to divide by I. Okay, so N would then be A over P minus 1 all over I. Can't read my own writing. But remember, you don't have to do it like this. This is just a way that might make it easier for some of you. But don't feel panicked if you are not one of those people. That is also okay. All right. Are we ready for some exercises? We see some enthusiasm. Guys are so quiet. Is it because it's end of term? Are you tired? Enthusiasm, I get thumbs up. I'll take it though. I'll take it. Okay. I'm going to put a couple of questions up on the board. I think let's just try and do, I'm actually just going to see if I can just take 2. Just give me a second. No. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, so I just want you to focus on these 2 questions to start. Don't want you to panic about them. Don't overthink them, just A and B. And when you feel confident, we can talk about A and B. So see here, you can, I'll pop up there before we do it. In these ones, we're not looking for I or N. So for you won't need it for A and B, but I will go up there. But it will be good practice for you to also manipulate the equation yourself, because I don't want you to have to learn that off by heart. Don't forget your little grocery list of important information. And then we're going to just pop it into our formula. And B. Okay. Let's see how these 2 go. Okay, and then when we have a brave volunteer, let me know who can talk us through A and who can talk us through B. Because you know I love hearing your voices, guys. And I never get to hear them. Yes, you can absolutely answer A. Pop that hand up so I can unmute you. Kinsani, yes, I'll put you down for B. Okay, hello.
Hi, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm finding you.
I'm good. Okay, talk me through A. What are my values that I'm going to put here on the left?
So we don't know our A
Good,
and our P is 500
good.
and our N is 3 years.
Yeah,
Then our I is 0.08.
beautiful.
Then
Okay.
then we will say A is equals to 500, open brackets, 1 plus 8 times 3.
8 times 3, yes.
Then our A is 620.
Beautiful. Don't forget your rand sign because it's money, but 100%. Nice job. Woohoo! Okay, Kinsani, pop that hand up. Otherwise, how can I unmute you? Thank you. Okay. B, talk me through B.
Hi, ma'am. So
Hi.
actually, my name is actually Tsorofato. It's just my sister did the lesson before, like the first lesson for me. So
Okay.
I'm back now.
Okay, no problem.
But I'll talk through it.
Okay.
So P is 1,400 Rand.
So be careful. This is what Abri receives after investment.
Oh, it's the A. Sorry. So 1,400 is the A.
Okay.
P is what we're trying to find. I is 21% or 0.21.
Yeah.
And the number of years is 5.
Good. Okay, so now let's pop that into this formula and then you can tell me what you want me to do. Or do you want to first manipulate the formula? What do you want to do?
I actually want to manipulate the formula.
Right? Tell me what you would like and I will write it.
So I would take the A and divide it by the 1 plus the interest multiplied by the number of years to get P. So it's or so it's the 1,000 plus 1,400 over 1 plus the 21% multiplied by 5.
Good. And what do you get in your
And
calculator?
my answer is 682 Rand, 93.
Beautiful. 100%. Nice job.
Oh, ma'am, it's 82. Sorry.
I think it is 93. Oh, 82. I hear what you're saying. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the census. You're absolutely right. No, you are absolutely right. It is 82. Oh,
Thank
no,
you, ma'am.
no. Look how much I've erased. Okay. No worries. Time. No. Guys, what's happening here? Okay. Whew. Okay. Okay, we can all calm down. No one panic. No one panic. Everything's fine. That's a 2. That's what I was trying to do. Okay. Nice. Now, if you don't want to rearrange the formula in the beginning, you don't have to. You can put your values in and move them around afterwards, but you'll get to the same answer in the end. Okay. Cool. Take a screenshot of these 2 questions if you would like. And if you have questions you need to ask, and then I'm going to give you your next 2 to work through. Okay. Yes, Yusuf, I remember you. How can you tell the difference between A and P? So P is what you start with and A is what you end with. So if they use words like in B, they use the words after investing, as in after I've invested the money. So when I already have interest added, that's how we know it's A. But if you look at C, so Baruti invests 37,800 Rand. Okay, so that's my A, because that's what's going in, and then receives is how much I'm getting out. So that would be my A. So then P will be the 37 and A will be my 45. So you've just got to think about what's going in and then what's coming out of the account. Okay, I fancy that sorted out. Okay, cool. Thanks, Nelly. Superstar. Now, these ones are trickier, okay, because we're looking for our I and our N. So this is where it gets a little bit trickier. But if you take time in the beginning of the question to do your subject of the formula and get I as the subject and N as the subject, I promise it is worth your while. How are we doing? Are we feeling stressed? Are we feeling good? Are we manipulating this formula in the right way? I feel stressed for you. Yes, Nelly, I love it. Good, Samuel, that's what I like to hear. I've already got one favorite happy face emoji at the moment. That's okay. You can keep going, keep working. Get those brains buzzing. Once we've done these two, we will have done one of each type of question. So that's good. The rest is just like bonus for us. I'm loving the confidence, Samuel. I love it. Love it. Are we still happily working? We're getting a few more emojis popping in. It's good. Love it. Imelda, enjoy that little emoji. Devonga, that's how my brain feels most of the time. Feels exactly like that emoji. Oh, guys, my cat came to say hello. Hi. For those of you who haven't seen her in a couple of months, she's still alive. Alive and kicking.
You can't see her face.
Oh no, Maddie, go say hello. Oh, she's yeah, no.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hello. It looks like she's shy because it doesn't want to look at the camera straight.
She's just embarrassed.
So, meow to it. Oh, did you see Jasmine also has a cat?
Hi, Jasmine.
Hello. My cat also came to visit.
Hey, they can say hi. Mads, look, there's another cat. There's a cat. There's a cat there. It's not playing with me now.
Grumpies. They're both grumpy.
Yeah. Okay, let's try and work through these questions. You guys did so well there. Nice job. Okay, I'm going to start by manipulating this equation around. So I'm wanting to make, well, actually, let me take that back. We're going to start by our grocery list. So Baruti invests 37,800 Rand. So that's going to be our P value. Okay. After 5.5 years, so that's our N, we don't know our I, and our A is going to be 45900. Okay. That means that we are trying to isolate our I. Cool. So let's start doing that. We're going to start by dividing both sides by, no, I don't want to use red. Pen, I don't want you to be red. I want you to be yellow. Why are you giving me attitude now? Thank you. Okay. I want to divide both sides by P, because I don't want that P on that side anymore. So we're going to have A over P is equal to 1 plus I times N. Next thing we're going to do is move that 1 over. So A over P minus 1 is equal to I times N. Now we're wanting to isolate I, so we're going to divide both sides by N. So that means that I is going to be equal to A over P minus 1 over N. Can I get a show of hands? What brain buffs in this class got to this point? Who manipulated this equation around and was able to get to this point? Yes, I see a hand and I love it. Good. Okay, more than one hand. That's even more exciting. If you didn't get there, see if you can figure out where you went wrong. If you can't figure out where you went wrong, ask Nelly, ask me. We're here. We're here to help you. Okay, once we've done this, because this is the whole hard part, once we've done this, we can just substitute in our numbers. So now it's easy. So that means that I is equal to 45900 over 37800 minus 1 all over 5.5. And we can pop that straight into our calculators. I'll show you now instead of isolating how you can do it. So we're going to do 45900 over 37800 minus 1 all over 5.5. And we will get, sorry, let me just zoom out a little bit here. Okay, so I is going to be equal to 0,03896. Now, when you're working with I, they generally want you to give it as a percentage. So we're going to times this value by 100 to get it as a percentage. So I is going to be 3,9%. Okay. So what I'll do, because they're very similar, is I'll show you without isolating by putting in the values how you could do D. So because then you're going to get a sort of a sample of each way. If you did isolate the values for D, it would look like this. Okay, it's just, okay. So for D, your equation will end up looking like N is equal to A over P minus 1 all divided by I. So if you did isolate, that's what you would landed up getting. Okay. But let's say we didn't. Let's say we put in values. There's all kinds of different things you can do here. So we start by figuring out our question. Dominic invests 5,410 Rand and receives 7,720 Rand. So they invest, which means that's what's going in, 5,410. Receives, that's what's coming out, 7,720. Okay, interest is 6.2% per year, and our N, we don't know. Cool, let's put it into our equation. 7,720 is equal to 5,410 plus 6.2% times N. First step here would be to divide by this 5,410. Some people like to do distribution, which you can also absolutely do if you're a distribution person. Distribute away. I can show you how to do that on the right-hand side. But generally, the easiest thing is to divide by that 5,410. So we would say 7720 divided by 5410 is equal to 1 plus 6.2% times n. If you don't want to use these big numbers, you're welcome to put that into your calculator at this point over here and work out what that is. So if you're not wanting to keep it as a fraction, you can say 7720 divided by 5410, and that would give you a decimal. But if you're going to keep those decimals, keep multiple spaces. So I'm just going to keep it as a simplified fraction. So I'm going to keep this as 772 over 541. Okay. Then we're going to want to move that 1 over. So we're going to minus a 1. So it depends on how strict your teachers are. Some of the teachers want the interest to be given in a percentage, but some of the teachers aren't super strict about it. My gut is to say make it a percentage, but ask your teacher because it will depend on them. Okay. Again, we're just going to chuck that in. So we have 772 over 541, and we're going to minus 1 from that. And so now we get a fraction 231 over 541 is equal to 6.2% times n. Then we can divide both sides by 6.2%. I'm just right. I know some of this, you know what I'm doing, but I'm just writing it so you've got every step on your side. Okay, so I'm going to divide that by 6.2%. And I get an answer of 6.89 years. So now here, if they asked for full years, it would take 7 full years because you can't run down because they wouldn't have gotten to that amount of money within the 6 years. So if they wanted full years, you would say 7 years. If they don't say full years, you can say 6.89 years. Okay. Quickly before our lesson ends, I'm going to show you the distribution way in case we have anyone who likes to do it that method, just because I want you to have all your options open. With financial maths, you've got to find the one that works for you, and that's the way you must do it. So let's just keep this the same. Okay. If you do the distribution method, you would keep this on that side and you're going to distribute that 5,410 into both. So you would have 5,410. And then when you distribute it here, you're multiplying it by the 6.2%. So we're saying 5,410 times 6.2%, which gives us 323.02 times n. Okay, then I can then I can move over my 5,410. So we can say 7720 minus 5,410, and that would be equal to 323.02 times n. You can just minus that as you go. So 7720 minus 5,410. So 2,310 is equal to 323.02 times n. And then you would just divide both sides by that value. And so n should give you the same amount if we haven't made a mistake somewhere. Now I'm worried we have made a mistake somewhere. So I don't think we do get the same amount. 5. Let's just double check. 410 times 6.2 cent. Oh, that's where we went wrong. Okay, let me just fix this number here, guys. 335.42. And then we get our correct value. Okay, so this is if we use the distribution method. This is if we're just subbing in values and then we move them around. And then the left side is if we rearrange our formula before we get going. Before you do your poll, can you tell me where your favorite one is? Do you prefer method A, method B, or method C? Just so we can get an idea. And then Nelly can tell teacher Coco before your lesson on Wednesday.